Hey YouTube, welcome to round 2 Woodworks. Special hey to my dad. I hope you're feeling better, Pop. This is the main reason for these videos, is so my dear old dad knows what his dear old son's up to. So the last time we got together was around the 1st of December. Now we're pushing the end of January. Since then, back then I had like 2/3 of the garage done. Since then I've made a couple of cabinets, like 3 cabinets. One was like this roll around shop cart, you know, from Woodsmith. I got the plans. That came out pretty good. I'll show you that. I've got one more thing that I want to make. This is from the Wood Whisperer. It's a stock. It swings out from the garage, holds 4x4 and different stocks and shelf for long stocks. I won't need 4 shelves, of course, but I still want to make this so I can get the wood out of the dog run, I guess you'd call it. So anyway, I still have that to do, the Wood Whisperer one, but it'll be about the end of my garage conversion. So for those that you know, I know that my dad's not the only one watching this, because I've got hundreds of views. So if you get a good idea or something, I hope you can use it. But this is what I've done. I had ideas when I went into this, what I wanted to complete and accomplish, and it's gone fairly well. It's taken me a long time to do it, but I've got it pretty much done. So let me show you what we've done. Last time we didn't have any electricity in. So I mean, we had the panel in, but since then I've of course put the light switch in. That circuit goes up to the lights, and then I've got 2 circuits at the bottom. The top of the bottom is a 220 and the bottom one is a 110. They go in through the conduit all around my shop, opened up, give it that rustic look like I wanted it at the first. I put a light over my bench, so if I'm working here, you know, I've got a little light on the subject. I put 3 lights above, which really helps a lot. They're T5s, they're nice and bright. So you know, I've got most of my tools hung up and right where I can grab them, where I know I'm getting to remember where I put everything. I did have my router table and my portable table up there, but you know, getting it down was easy. Putting it up was oh man, it was a strain. So I had to bite the bullet and realize that I didn't want to throw my back out. So I put some light stuff up there. Still got the table saw underneath, or the toolbox underneath next to the table saw. You know, everything is kind of maximized because I don't have any real space. I'm not going to sacrifice my cars. My cars will always be in the shop. So all this is the same as last time, although as far as the saws go, I kept knocking them down and I just barely catch them before they hit the ground, and I knew I was going to ruin them. So I put these little things on, these little spring-loaded things on, which worked pretty good. And then I had the, you know, then I labeled everything. I've got 3 cross-cut saws and 2 rip saws, and they're all sharpened and in good shape. I also have over here, I also have my old Stanley 115 miter saw. Oops, that was brilliant. Miter saw, and I've got a saw back there for that. So I mean, if you square it up with your T-square or your 45 degree, it's very accurate, but it's, you know, you can't trust the numbers on the scale. because they're wrong. Anyway, let's go back out of here. So, as I say, my conduit for the electricity, you know, it runs around to my workbench. Then on my workbench, you know, I've got a couple of doubles there, and then there's the final 220. Okay, and then you've seen my how I've got my clamps, and obviously you've seen my hand plane collection. So that I'm kind of happy with that, the way that looks. I put a light above it, then my radio sits on the top of the cabinet, and then over yonder, you know, I've got you know, my lights and my level and my long clamps. I've got those up there, so they're nice and handy. Then below, I've got my boards there for sharpening and truing up my planes. Once you get your hand plane trued up and sharpened, doesn't take a lot, but boy, some of these old planes, when they're nicked and dinged and all rusty, they take a lot. So I can, you know, that's a lot of hand repetition, which I can't handle real well, so I can only do about one plane a day. But you know, I've got 24 hand planes in my collection, so, but most of them are done. I've only got a few more to do on mine. And then you see these other planes over here. Those are ready for eBay when I can get off my, you know, get a little time and get those. I've still got $500 worth of hand planes that I can sell on eBay. So anyway, up to there, we're about the same as December. But since December, I've made this cabinet and the cabinet under. Now, the cabinet under it, now let's just go this way. I wanted to leave this open. You know, I just, you know, wanted it to be blocked from view from the outside of the garage, but I didn't like it, so I put some doors on it, and then I still didn't like it, and so I had this old thing, you know, with shade. So up here I've got my circular saw, my miter saw, and then up on the top shelf I have the welder in back, and I've got the generator in back, and then I've got my scroll saw up front because I'll use it more. And then in here is going to be jigs and things like that when I get around to it. Here's the little cart that I made. And I made it to put in there. I was going to put like 3 or 4 drawers on it. There's the cart. I was going to put like 3 or 4 drawers on it, but you know, I've got with my toolboxes and stuff, I've got like 42 drawers, and I've got another 15 or so cupboards, and they're all right, said and good, but you got to remember what's in them and where they are. And so the shop vac kind of needs to go wherever the workstation goes, because I mean, dust in a wood shop is, you know, can get quite bad. So I've got I made this from the plans. You know, the plans had like a little PVC pipe on it, but you can run this up or whatever to hold stock on, you know, for an end table or whatever. And I put these little rollers on instead of instead of the PVC. And then I made this to go in here out of the way. And I've got like a foot behind it so I can have, my pressure washer and stuff behind it. So, now, I had back here, you can see my ladders. They're stuck in the back. Now that green ladder is supposed to be stuck back there with the other ladder, but I decided to continue, the conduit and wire all the way around through this cabinet to put a plug yonder. You can see that plug. And why I did that is that's a trickle charger to my car, and it used to be plugged up on the ceiling, up there. And that wire just got in my way So I said, I'm just going to put a plug over there. And now it's out of my way. But the ladder won't go back there because the conduit's too, So, I don't know. I may put the ladder on the wall or whatever. So that's a cabinet that I did. And then there's the other cabinet that I did. And then I've got Sammy's cart on the wall. It used to be she liked to run beside it, but now she likes to ride in it. Then I made this this cabinet too. It's for my all my garden equipment. Now the way I did it, I just used that plastic lattice that your roses grow on. Then I had to put some down in the bottom to keep all the tools standing straight. So there's two things of that white lattice, So, and then back in here, is where that other, thing will go. That shopping or stock cart will go on that wall, and it'll swing out. So that's about my garage, Dad. I've got it all done. I've got that wall still to do with that one project, but other than that, it's kind of all together. It's kind of the way it has to be. I would like to have more room, of course, but I just don't have more room, and I'm not going to sacrifice my cars. They're gonna stay tucked away in the garage, so I can move them out when I have a project. And what's really nice is the way I'm going to do this is I've got separate workstations, like that workstation, that portable one that's under there, and then I've got my workstation out with the router table on it, and then I've got like these workstations that I can pull out. Now what I'll do is, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to have wooden jigs that I can just like set my circular saw on here, or my scroll saw, or my buff or whatever. Just set it there, and it takes a few minutes to set up, but that's the price you have to pay for not having room. So I've got 3 workstations, so I can have 3 separate things set up with in feeds and out feeds. So it has worked pretty good. When I made that one table over yonder, it was nice knowing where everything was. It was real nice knowing where everything was. I just go get it in just a matter of a few minutes. you know, you can be ready to start your project instead of having hours to set up, you know. So anyway, Dad, I gotta say I've learned a lot, you know, since I started this. I've learned one thing. I wasn't very good at woodworking, but I've learned a lot. I know that in woodworking, if you're off a 1/16 of an inch, you're in trouble. You're off an 1/8 of an inch, and you're screwed. So you got to be right on the money, especially with dados and rabbets that just have to fit in perfectly for a square. So when your blade is only an 1/8 of an inch thick, you know, the kerf on your table saw or circular saw or whatever, you know, your tolerances have to be right on. So I kind of learned to make a cut first and measure it and make sure it's right, and then go from there. But plus I've got to, my table saw is real old, you know, it doesn't have all the fancy lockdowns. You know, if I set it on a 1/16, you know, it can move, you know, so I got to almost check it every cut. So it's just what it is. But I'm not too displeased, you know. I think it came out all right. I like being out here a lot more than I did, I gotta say. And I'll just let you know what happens when I get that other project going on, and we'll see what happens from there. But anyway, I hope everybody had a nice holiday season. And Dad, you get well quick, and we'll be talking soon. Take care, and you have a good day, all.